Awesome to have everybody here. Yeah, please in the chat and please feel free to introduce yourself with your name. Where are you? Where do you live? And on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your expert level for crypto? 10 being brainiac, 1 being complete noob. Totally fine. So we've got 2 4s and 5s so far. Oh, cool, David. That's awesome. You took a class on grid trading a couple of months ago, looking to supplement this activity. Great. Would love to help you do that. I think some of the things we talk about today should open your eyes to the greater crypto investing is kind of like martial arts. Like there's a lot of different types. There's kung fu, taekwondo, karate, all that. There's different disciplines. Well, a grid bot, a trading bot is one discipline. Then inside of trading bots, there's all kinds of different approaches there. And then you've got DeFi and liquidity, and you've got yield farming, and just there's all kinds of different things that we do, especially me and my mastermind members, to create that passive income or multiple streams of income, which is obviously what we all want to create in all walks of life. So I'm excited about sharing our content today because I feel like it's going to give a lot of people the foundation that they've never had to stand on. That foundation allows you to make decisions with your finances or your treasure and your risk and your risk aversion and your risk tolerance and all those things. Just having a clear look at the playing field. And I get all the crazy questions all the time, just being a full-time crypto coach and enthusiast. So there are no stupid questions. This chat box is a judgment-free place. So please, as you're joining, introduce yourself. What's your name? Where do you live? I don't need your address, but just like where are you from? And what's your expert level, 1 to 10? When it comes to crypto, 10 being Jedi Master, 1 being complete absolute noob. I get questions all the time, like, what makes crypto worth anything? It's not backed by anything real or tangible. And I get things like, what's the difference between Bitcoin and crypto? And there's a lot of those types of questions, and that's totally fine. Those are healthy, important questions, but they don't need to be reasons why you don't invest or you don't take action. Okay. Questions are simply things that are standing between you and a wholesome decision. So the real question is to get answers, or the real challenge is to get answers. And the real courage comes in asking those questions. So I want you guys to feel total freedom today to ask questions as we go. Now, I can't do 2 things at once very well, but if you permit me and be patient with me, I will certainly do a Q&A near the end. Okay. So, hey, without further ado, if you have not introduced yourself yet in the chat, please do so. I know a lot of people are going to be piling in here in the next minute or two, just because folks, that's human nature. So regardless of your experience level, regardless of where you come from, socioeconomic background, current employment status, current investment status, doesn't matter. This is for you. So I want you to introduce yourself, feel part of the family. Where are you from? Scale of 1 to 10. What's your expert level on crypto? All right. So what are we talking about? Well, we are talking about how complete noobs can make over $500 a week with crypto farming. Specifically, we're going to dive into a specific approach. And believe it or not, I've got an agenda for us, and I want to go over that in just a second. But this is all about, just so you guys know, this won't be like an academic presentation. My goal is for this to be super pragmatic so that you can have something to walk away with. So I want to welcome you guys, Soren, Eric, MJ, David, Kate, Adanya, Carmen, Linus. Good to see you. Maji, Sean, thank y'all for being here. Fantastic to have you. Okay. So I do have slides, but don't don't sleep on these slides, because these slides that I'm going to be sharing with you are meant for education. I'm going to give you practical tools and tips to take away, and I'm going to give you some actual like action steps. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. So again, this is not an academic presentation. This is a practical, honestly, kind of like a business in a box presentation is how I would view this. Okay, and I just want to show, as the slide says, how everyday people are building wealth and developing passive income in the world of decentralized finance by applying the same proven strategies that banks have been using for hundreds of years. But now the world of crypto allows us to do that while managing risk. So that's what we're doing. It's if you're a complete noob, that's totally fine. Okay, I'm going to show you what you need in order to succeed. I know a lot of people like to know the pathway or the roadmap of where we're going on our call today, so I want to be sensitive to that and provide just my quick agenda. First, we're going to talk about what success looks like in crypto. Like, what can you do with crypto when you're successful? You know, like what does that look like practically in real life? We're also going to cover 4 basic tools that you need to earn in order to earn passive income in crypto. These are just like basic tech tools that you're going to need. Some people on the call will have 1 or 2 of these. Some people on the call have none of these. It's totally fine. All right. We're going to kind of put them together. It's a little puzzle pieces. Number 3, I'm going to tell you my top 5 mistakes as a crypto investor. Give me a number 1 in the chat box if that would be super helpful for you. If any of this so far sounds like it's going to be helpful, give me a number 1 in the chat, because I want you guys to stay engaged. So I'm going to ask you to be involved in the chat. Okay. Number 4, I'm going to talk about what I did to actually overcome those mistakes as well. So it's one thing to point out problems. It's another thing to provide solutions for them. And I think that's what true leadership is about. And leadership is something you need for your own portfolio in the world of crypto. No matter what you're investing in, real estate, stock market, precious metals, doesn't matter. Okay. What we need to do is have self-leadership, self-sovereignty, and that's what we're going to equip you to do today. Number 5, how to calculate returns ahead of time with crypto. Literally, how do we back out of the economics? How do we do the math on some of this stuff that we do in yield farming and crypto farming and passive income investing? How do we know how much we're going to earn with how much capital we put in? I think a lot of people want to know the answer to that question. And then lastly, I'll do a live demo of me actually harvesting money in real time from one of my crypto farms so that you can just see, because I know a lot of times seeing is believing, and a lot of people just have like this cognizant dissonance of, yeah, people talk about this crypto thing and it kind of sort of works, and you know, there's headlines and mainstream media, blah, blah, blah. But what about everyday people who are just doing the blocking and tackling of earning and actually getting results? That's what I want to show you in real time. Okay. So lock in. Let's get rolling. And I just want to talk about what success can look like, okay, in crypto. Now, first and foremost, success can look different for everyone. I believe it's subjective. You know, for me, success, I'm about to show you what success looks like. But for Sean or Eric or Caitlin or Carmen or Soren or anybody else on this call, we could define success 100 different ways. So one of my crypto wallets, and you can have as many crypto wallets as you want, but this is one of my accounts, if you will. When I had started in crypto, I would going from basically from beginner to intermediate. I had like a 2,300% return on my portfolio. Had some really incredible investments that turned out good and made some life-changing money. Okay. And what do you do at that point? Right. Well, I'm a dad. I'm from Alabama. I grew up in the South. I love outdoors and I love my family. You know, I have 3 teenage daughters, beautiful wife. So what success looked like for me was investing in our family and in our family's home. And so we really love our backyard now because we have this beautiful pool that we are able to have friends over and, create these awesome experiences. And for some, success looks like this. For others, success might look like being more philanthropic. Success might look like buying rental properties or something else, right? Success for me is my Traeger grill. I love. Sorry to all the vegans on the call. Please don't be mad at me or turn me off. But I love to sneak in the backyard on a spring day when it's 78 degrees outside and everything's green outside and the pool's calm, and I can just make some of my favorite things in life. So if you love grilling or if you love just the outdoors, hey, look, if you just want to create memories and experiences for your family, give me a number 1 in the chat. Maybe that's what crypto success looks like for you. Maybe you just want to create experiences and not things. That's what it's all about for me, my wife, my family. That's what we're in it for, right? So I also love to just go back there and work. So, I don't have a 9 to 5. Thankfully, I have the opportunity to create my own schedule and be independent physically, geographically. And so, hey, sometimes I do client calls and work with my mastermind members sitting by the pool on a beautiful day. And so that's what success for me, like just on some level, looks like. And there are material benefits to being a successful investor, especially in the crypto space, because there's more asymmetrical upside in the crypto asset class than there is in the other asset classes. You can make up a lot of ground in a shorter amount of time thanks to crypto's low market cap and early adoption phase that we're in right now. Now, that being said, I grew up in Northwest Alabama, rural country. Like you can tell by the way I talk, probably. I grew up one generation removed from extreme poverty. As a matter of fact, I was in my hometown a couple of Saturdays ago, drove by my grandmother's house where she used to make lunch for me and all of my relatives every Sunday after church. And I mean, my grandma was so poor, y'all. Like the porch was falling in. You could probably stick a pencil through the outside of the house. But she always cooked. She'd make biscuits and sometimes she'd make spaghetti, but she couldn't afford like ragu and Prego tomato sauce. So she would make spaghetti sauce with ketchup sometimes. Like that's kind of like the level of honestly poverty that my family came from. And I was the first person to go to college in my entire line. And so I just want to make it, I say that to say there's nothing wrong with being from there, but it's also but my challenge to you is don't stay where you are. There's always an opportunity to grow and learn. When I got out of college, I read this crazy book by this crazy guy named Robert Kiyosaki, and it changed my life. You may have heard of it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And Rich Dad, Poor Dad really changed my life on how to look at finances and how to control them and grow them and become financially independent. And so fast forward now, what I do with my time, I own a few businesses. I'm a real estate investor, own various small businesses. I'm an investor in some companies that you might recognize on LinkedIn. But the thing that I love, the thing that I'm most passionate about is my mastermind that I host with individuals just like you called Get Paid Daily. I started it as a cohort where I would just work with 5 people at a time in a live setting. And now I've expanded it into a full-on mastermind community, training, support, weekly coaching calls. It's a blast. We have a good time. There's a lot of people in it. We got about 250 members now. But everybody has to apply and go through me. So it's a really high quality group. It's not just a bunch of rainbow chasers and tire kickers and silver bullet seekers. Like, these are people who are wanting to invest methodically and systemically. And if that sounds like you, give me a number 1 in the chat. Maybe we can talk later. But I've helped a ton of people. People have awesome reviews and interactions all the time with me. We've made a lot of money together, even in a bear market. As a matter of fact, one of the fun parts is sometimes we do just some fun on the side, like we don't day trade. That's one thing we don't do. But I as a hobbyist like to do some swing trading. So I know how to do. I know enough chart analysis to where I can know how to buy low and sell high over certain periods of time. This is a great example of how I turned $2,000 into 7,200. And I have a channel in my Discord group for certain members in my mastermind called Trade Signals. And basically, whenever I'm, hobbying around with my money, I'll say, hey guys, I'm buying, this Dino. I'm not telling you to go buy Dino right now, just not financial advice. This is just an example of an asset. It's actually a meme coin. It's a terrible investment long-term, but I'm a mercenary capitalist and I like to, take money from the market when I can. So I gave the signal to my members, buy here. I'm buying here, guys. And I gave the signal, I'm selling over here. And I gave the signal, I'm going to buy this again. I think we're going to get one more leg up. And then I sold on the way back down. So that's not a passive income example. That's just me having fun. So I'm in it a lot, but having the skills and the tools to do this is what really matters the most. And that's what I want you to walk away with, is the tools and the abilities to make these decisions as a noob. And that's possible. One thing real quick, before we really dive into the deep content here, is to take a look at the psychology of crypto market cycles. And specifically, I want to call your attention to the very top, euphoria. We are not there right now. And that's good news to you, because that means there's a lot of money to be made standing right here where we are on the timeline. Euphoria was November 2021. And ever since November 2021, we've been doing this right here, and this right here, and this right here. And we are all the way over here in depression. And look what it says right here, buy zone. This is your reaccumulation buy zone. All right. So if you're listening to my voice today, right now, this is where you are. This is where Warren Buffett says, when others are fearful, be greedy. And when others are greedy, be fearful. 40% of current crypto owners bought up here because they're not smart. They're not as smart as you are being on this call right now. They just go with the flow and react to everyone else. And that's not the way you invest. We want to wait and be patient, but we can also create passive income in all these phases. Okay. So there are various types of little financial skills that I would say you need to acquire. I'm not talking about going to college. I'm not talking about getting another certification or another degree. I just mean learning the ropes on how to use the tools that I'm about to share with you and understand the vocabulary. You don't have to be a blockchain technician to be a successful crypto investor. I went to Alabama public schools. We're number 49 in the US. So if I can do it, you can do it. Let's dive in. Okay. So do you guys want me to give me a yes in the chat? Do you want me to jump into the 4 basic crypto tools that you need to earn passive income? Are we on the same page? Are we awake? Is that what we want? I see Carmen has a yes. All right. Yes. 1. Yes. Okay, cool. Let's dive into these. And I very much view these, if you're familiar with Camelot and the Sword and the Stone and King Arthur, like, it's one thing to have the sword, the tool, but it's another thing to know how to use it. And so I want to identify these tools for you with the understanding that you'll commit to learning how to do them or how to use them. Okay. And I think these tools should not intimidate you at all. As a matter of fact, these should liberate you to go out and make some money. All right. So the first tool is going to be a little shocking. It's good old fashioned Google Chrome. If you can work a Google Chrome browser, you can create passive income in crypto. The second, so I would think about what I'm about to show you is almost like a hierarchy or a totem pole of priorities. And quote unquote, a lot of people are like, what account do I need? What platform do you use? And so that question that I hear a lot, this is the answer. The following is the answer to that question. So Google Chrome, you need a central exchange or a centralized exchange. These are some of the name brands. There's actually hundreds of them globally. My preference is Coinbase because I'm in the US. It's a publicly traded stock on the NASDAQ. So we know it has regulation, and they have to show us their money, their financials every quarter. We know that they're not necessarily embezzling or doing any crazy stuff with their balance sheet. So there's a level of transparency there that I trust. But I also have an account with these other two as well. The more you get into it, you'll probably end up collecting central exchanges. But in order to pass go and to collect $200, you really have to have at least one central exchange. Certain states and jurisdictions and provinces may not permit certain exchanges. It's just all up to where you live. But for the most part, Coinbase is going to be pretty widely accepted. Okay. The next tool that you need is what we call a hot wallet. A hot wallet is simply a wallet that is connected to the internet. Okay. And the difference between a central exchange and a hot wallet is the hot wallet is your self-custody wallet. Central exchange, when your money is hosted there, it's technically their asset, their custody, they're being the custodian. But if Coinbase or crypto.com or Binance or somebody, if you had, $100,000 sitting on crypto.com and crypto.com mismanaged their balance sheet and it went under, they're taking your money with them to bankruptcy. Whereas if you've got it in your own possession, and that's the key, like central exchanges are great. They're like public restrooms. They serve a purpose, but we don't want to live there. So hot wallets is the next step down to where you've got security phrases, you have access to it. Only you are able to use it. And that's what we use to connect with a lot of our passive income DeFi or decentralized financial investment protocols that allow us to earn a daily yield. Okay. Give me a number one if that makes sense, the difference between a central exchange and a hot wallet. The central exchange, I totally failed to mention this. The central exchange is our on-ramp and off-ramp with fiat money. So US dollars, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, whatever currency. If you want Bitcoin or if you want Ethereum, you have to connect your bank account, wire or transfer money over to the central exchange and make the swap. Okay. That's how you just literally go buy crypto. But if you want to do the fun, crazy stuff and earn high yields, 100% to 400% a year, that's where the hot wallet comes into play, because you need that in order to use yield farms, et cetera. Okay. Examples of the hot wallet would be MetaMask and Trust Wallet. These are two just big name brands. Ironically, Coinbase has their own wallet as well, but I don't use it simply because a lot of people get confused between the products. And so I like to use MetaMask. It's probably the largest and most widely used on the whole planet. And by the way, these are free. You don't have to go buy extra software. It's literally, MetaMask is literally a Google Chrome plugin. And I'll show you how it works in a minute when I do my demo on my yield farm, my crypto farm. Okay. And then the fourth tool, and I think this is the best money you'll ever spend in crypto, is a cold wallet. This, again, does not need to be intimidating. This is the ultimate expression of self-sovereignty, self-reliance, and being bankless and being your own bank. So what is this? This is a little hardware. I use the one on the left. It's called a Ledger Nano X. There's other brands like Trezor and Arculus, and there's a whole lot of them. The Ledger Nano X is $149. At least it has been. It's the best $150 I've ever spent because that is a physical device. There's 2 physical analog buttons on it. So a hacker has to be in the room with me and they have to know my 9-digit code, and they have to punch it in order to move my money in and off and onto the blockchain. And you simply have to have your recovery phrases. So I write the recovery phrases down 3 different places. I put them in a safe. I put them in a lockbox. I put them in just hidden places and that nobody knows to get to or how to get to. And then, hey, what if there's an accident and that hardware is destroyed? No big deal. As long as you have the recovery phrases, you just order another one, type it in. It has a corresponding software that you use on your computer to interface with it. Bada boom, bada bing, you got all your money again. So it's the most secure way on the planet to store your crypto. Not my keys, not my crypto. That's the biggest phrase of 2022. When 4 or 5 central exchanges mismanaged their balance sheets and went under. Celsius, Voyager, FTX was the big one. And so we want to make sure we don't host our money on exchanges, but we host our money in our own wallets. It's okay to hold it in a hot wallet. You just got to understand that you need to have extreme protocols set up so that people can't get into your computer. And cold wallets, #1 best. That's any non-active funds that I'm not trading or using for passive income. And it's my treasure box. I keep that on my cold wallet. Okay. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to keep jumping, but I want you to understand those are the 4 basic crypto tools. Now you just have this. Now that you have the sword out of the stone, you've got to know how to sword fight. So do you guys want me, give me a #1 in the chat if you want me to walk you through my biggest blunders, my biggest mistakes as a crypto investor, and then I'll cap it off also with some solutions. Yeah, would that be helpful? Yes, in the chat. Okay, great. So let me real quick jump through these. I'm going to move very fast. And if this creates questions in your mind, please, by all means, feel free to write that down or type it out and ask it. There are no such thing as stupid questions. #1, not taking profits when the market is up. Okay, not having a profit-taking strategy is one of the biggest no-nos ever. So I've been in markets where I'm like, okay, I invested X amount of dollars and it went up. And I'm like, holy cow, man, this is way better than the stock market. This blows everything else out of the water. And I just hold it there. And at the time, as a newbie, I would just hold it on my Coinbase account. So it's a double whammo. I'm holding it through an upward market, and I'm holding it and it's not even in my custody. So make sure you have a profit-taking strategy. One of my favorite profit-taking strategies is going and having an end in mind on price. So let's say I invest in Chainlink. In 2019, I believe, I bought Chainlink at 84 cents. LINK is the ticker symbol. I bought Link at 84 cents. By November 2021, it was worth $49. It went from 84 cents to $49. That was an incredible run. What I did, though, is every so often I would take profits, kind of like a Mount Everest journey. At different base camps, take 20% off the table, take 25%, take 15%. As you go, take profits on the way up, okay? Don't just hold forever, unless your time horizon is like 15 years. If you're just like a set it and forget it, and I'm not looking at this for 15 years, and you have that level of discipline, then don't worry about taking profits, you know. But if you're on this call, you're probably more interested in active management, although it takes me less than 30 minutes a week to do what I do with my passive income portfolio. So I'm not a day trader. #2, moving too quickly is a huge mistake. If you're trying to pop through things and like make quick decisions, and that's probably a great indication that you're being driven by FOMO and fear of missing out. And that is a psychology that can get you into trouble, especially in the crypto. Moving too quickly, you'll make rash decisions. That's another reason why I love cold wallets, because they almost act as a hurdle for me to make an emotional decision. Markets are largely emotional and psychological. So for those of us who can rise above and have more of a macro view, and look at things and have a pace instead of just a rush around and like, I got to do this, then moving too quickly causes errors to happen. You might accidentally send something to the wrong place, or you might, buy something you didn't need to buy, or, accidentally give someone your secret passphrase to your hot wallet, and now they have access to your hot wallet. Like, you just don't want to move too quickly. So move at a sober pace. Going at it alone, massive mistake. If you're trying to invest alone with you and your spouse or whatever, you're in a cone of insanity. If you're investing alone, you're in a cone of silent insanity, and you're going to be reading the wrong headlines. You're going to be translating the wrong macroeconomic data. You're going to be on the wrong Mount Everest. You're not going to have a good profit-taking strategy. You're not going to know when the accumulation periods are. You got to get in a group, like find a group of people who have skin in the game. They've got capital invested. Don't just listen to your brother-in-law at Thanksgiving, okay? Because he probably doesn't even have any money in the market. You need to get with investors. You need to be with people who are actually getting things done in the market. Again, doesn't mean you have to spend hours and hours a day or a week to be successful. Once you're up and running, like I said, 30 minutes or less a week, you just need to understand what is a proper investment and how to use the tools that are available to you. And the best way to do that is having people around you. Number 4, not using productive assets. So this is one of the biggest reasons why you're not currently making money with crypto, is because a lot of people just buy, hold, and hope. Some people on this call have never purchased crypto before. Some people on this call they bought crypto or Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Shiba Inu, something like that at some point, just because it was, they FOMO'd in. I did the same thing. Back in the 6 years ago, like, I get the FOMO thing. I'm not above it, but they're not productive, meaning, Warren Buffett talks about, comparing a block of gold, an asset, with farmland, an asset. Block of gold, it's not making any more gold for you. It's non-productive. Can it go up in value? Sure. Has it in 40 years? Not really, but it's a store of value. Farmland, it's productive. How so? Well, you can make crops, you can grow crops, you can sell those crops for cash flow and keep doing so. You have livestock, same thing. So you have an asset that can create cash flow on top of itself, on top of its underlying value. That is a productive asset. Non-productive assets, that is, if you just bought Bitcoin or if you just bought Ethereum, I'm not telling you that's a bad investment, but it's not a productive investment. Okay. So just wanted to make sure that was a difference. And if you just sit in a buy, hold, and hope posture, you're never going to get to the passive income stage of crypto. So give me a number 1, if that makes sense. Productive versus non-productive. Is that what you guys want to do with your assets? Like, is that why you showed up today? Is you want to create that layer of cash flow that's coming in while the bottom asset, the underlying asset, is growing? Is that accurate with your desires? I'm just curious if we're on the same page there. Let me know in the chat. Okay, great. So number 5, not diversifying the voices that I listen to. Not diversifying the voices that I listen to. So you need to have various inputs. Your output is only as good as your input. So if you're just listening to Jim Cramer on CNBC, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Matter of fact, they even have entire trading platforms that trade against Jim Cramer because he's always wrong. So you need to make sure you're listening to people in a group. Again, it's the reason why we don't want to invest alone, because we're listening to the wrong voice, and then we're influenced and we become biased, and then we become emotionally attached to bad assets, and you just don't make money that way. So we got to diversify the voices. All right, so those are my 5 problems. Now I want to show you what I did about it. Basically, what my investing framework is, because what I found quickly, and I had been an experienced business owner before I got into crypto, and a real estate investor. As a matter of fact, in 2008, I was a real estate investor in the middle of the great financial crisis, the big housing burst here in America. And that was fun. But I lived through it. And the moment I got into crypto, it had rich dad, poor dad all over it. I thought, oh my gosh, this is an asset class that allows me to cash flow. It allows me to have assets that go up in value, and it allows me to have leverage. And it sounds like real estate, and it basically is digital real estate. And so the only difference is it's got a lower barrier of entry. So I was like, man, this is awesome. I need a framework, because I am going to get too excited. I'm going to get too worked up. I'm going to get too active, and I'm going to sabotage my portfolio. So instead of doing that, I wanted to treat my portfolio like a business. If you want to treat your portfolio like a business, give me a number 1 in the chat, because I think that's the biggest commitment that you can make to yourself today, is to treat your portfolio like a business. And what I'm about to show you is honestly my secret sauce. It is the biggest decision I've made in the last 6 years of being an investor. I don't want to underemphasize that. This is the biggest decision, tool, matrix, and framework that I have created and used, that I still use day to day. This is not a gimmick. It's not just something cute to talk about on a Zoom call. This is a for real decision-making framework that I use for myself. I call it the crypto flywheel method. Okay. Now, this is my systematic way to expand net worth, which is truly what wealth is measured by. Okay. Now, let's start here at cash flow. This is where me and my clients, when they come and work with me on their portfolios, on their crypto business, this is where we start. Most people start here at appreciation, which is fine, but what you end up doing is buy, hold, and hope. And you don't really know what you're doing. And honestly, if we're being really transparent, it's kind of like you're playing the crypto slot machine. You're just kind of pulling the crank and hoping you get lucky 7s on Shiba Inu. And it just, Shiba Inu is a dog meme coin that, anyway, I love to pick on it. But cash flow, creating income streams. This is how we get paid daily. All right. And then what I do is I'll use yield farms. I use trading bots that trade for me, liquidity pools, various DeFi skills and strategies that I offer to my members, and we create a daily income. And that might mean, let's put, like, for example, one of my investments, I put $2,100 into like 12 days ago. Well, that $2,100 has earned like 1.2% a day for those last 12 days. So I've got like $400 or $500 now on top of the 2,100. It's an exaggerated earning. So what did I do? I harvest that. So now I've got $400 or $500 of house money. Okay. And now I can take that house money. I can take that house money and I can go down here and buy stuff that I believe in, that I've researched, like Chainlink. I love Link. I'm not telling you to buy Link. I'm not pushing it. I'm not shilling it. I'm just saying that's the stuff I buy at appreciation are things with utility, runway, and actual practical use. And then as my portfolio down here grows, as my cold wallet's just bursting at the seams with net worth value, Maybe I'm buying Ethereum and Bitcoin. Maybe I'm buying things. I'm just dollar cost averaging using my cash flow up here. You can also just take this cash flow home and pay for lifestyle expenses if you want to. It's totally your call. But this right here is where the wealth over the long haul is built. This cash flow right here is the fuel that it's kind of like how the military has certain airplanes that refuel other airplanes. That's kind of how I view cash flow. They're like the fuel. It's like the fuel plane. So I use DeFi to cash flow my crypto portfolio. And as my portfolio grows in value, I can use it as leverage to go buy more cash flow streams. So one of my favorite stories is in 2020, in the spring of 2021, my Bitcoin, holdings had gotten so large that I could actually use my Bitcoin as leverage to buy 2 rental properties in the real world. They were turnkey real estate investments. I bought them with current revenue. I was able to use that current revenue to pay off the loan against my Bitcoin. And now not only do I own 2 rental properties, but I obviously still have my Bitcoin. And I use infinite banking concepts and in real estate. And so I'm a crypto guy, but I'm also an asset investor. I invest in businesses and real estate. And so I try to use all of the principles of the crypto flywheel in all parts of my life to pay for success, whatever success looks like for you, like we covered at the beginning of the call. Is that helpful? That framework changed my life. If you use a framework, and some people, they only use 1 or 2 of the pieces of the flywheel at a time, and that's totally fine. It's a stage appropriate thing. You may just come in and say, hey, look, for the next 6 months, I'm just going to focus on cash flow. I'm just going to focus on daily returns. I'm going to focus on using compound interest and the rule of 72 that we learned in grade school. And that's how I'm going to manage it. And then maybe I'll buy something on bargain discount when I can, right? So here's some questions that I like to talk about, because I see somebody asking, how do you research where to put the money? Great segue, Carmen, because you have to ask the right questions. Okay. So what I'm going to show you here are just some questions that I like to ask. Number 1, what utility does the project have in the real world? So I like to go to a website called coinmarketcap.com. I'll show it to you in a minute, but basically coinmarketcap.com is an index of all the cryptos out there. And you can look up the one that you're interested in. You can click on it's basically a biography of the project, and you can go to the website. You can do all the research. It's all consolidated in one place. What I'm looking for is utility. Like I've mentioned Chainlink so far. Why do I like Chainlink? Well, Chainlink has a utility in that it is an Oracle service. What's an Oracle service? It's basically a service that all the other blockchains, like 82% of all the other blockchains like Ethereum and Polygon and Avalanche and Binance Smart Chain and all the protocols and crypto projects that are built on top of those networks, they come to Chainlink and they say, hey, we need you to pipe all of the data from the outside world onto our blockchain so that our smart contracts can work smarter, because smart contracts aren't omniscient. They're just code. They need data. And so Oracle services pipe in data from the real world and allow those blockchains to become more powerful, smarter, and efficient for its users. I love Link. They have like an 82% market penetration. So that's why I've made a lot of money with them. I did my research on them. And that's kind of one of the main reasons main questions I ask is, what's the utility? Number 2, what are my ferociously specific desired outcomes? Again, at the beginning, we talked about, what does crypto success look like? What is your ferociously specific desired outcome? So I'm going to ask you guys a question. What's your number? Like, what's a number that you want to earn, make? What's the Everest number for you? What's your freedom number? Give it to me in the chat. Is it 500,000? Is it 500 a month? Is it, I want to earn $1 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 5 million? Everybody's got a number. I want to pause right now, and I want you in the chat to tell me what your number is. All right, so I got a 7.5 million. I really like that. I haven't heard of 7.5 million in a while. 1 million a month. Carmen, out of trying to knock it out of the park. Eric and Adanya and Luis in a more sober approach at 10K a month. Maji 500K. All right, awesome. These are great numbers, and they're your number. They're not my number, and they're not everybody else's number. They're your number. And I want you to make sure that you take care of your ferociously specific desired outcome. What is that? It's a date. It's a date and it's a dollar. So put a date on the calendar and put a dollar amount next to it. That is the most important thing you'll do all day, because that's what we're going to reverse engineer around. David says, cover all expenses, financial freedom, 8K per month. I love that. Do I understand what this crypto does? This kind of connects to the utility question, but like, if you don't understand it, there are a lot of cryptos out there, guys, that I just don't understand. Like, it's just over my head. Do you think I'm going to invest in that? Absolutely not. Does that mean it's not worth anything? Absolutely not. It just means that I need to have my head around it. It's the same thing that Warren Buffett talked. Like, he buys Coca-Cola and Delta. He gets soft drinks and airplanes, right? Like that. He bought Apple. Apple was his no-brainer investment of the century because he understands that mobile technology rules the world. So we need to understand what the crypto does. And number 4, what are the tokenomics of the investment protocol? When I say that sentence, a lot of people go cross-eyed, especially newbies. All this means is, how does the money inside the investment that I'm investing in work? When does the price go up? What are the metrics, like market cap? Are they burning any tokens? How many tokens are in circulating supply? All these things that are easily available at a snapshot on coinmarketcap.com. You can find all this stuff in their white paper or in most of their public profiles, but you need to pay attention to how the tokenomics work. What's the annual percentage yield if I invest in a particular crypto farm? Those are the things that you just need to look at, right? All right. And then number 5, does this play a role in my crypto flywheel? This is a question you've got to ask. Remember, cash flow, appreciation, and leverage. When you approach a new crypto, maybe somebody says, hey, dude, have you heard about Dino? The one I was talking about at the beginning. Like, have you heard about Dino? Now, I've made, it's gone up 1,000%. I've made $80,000 on it. Okay, pause, time out. Does that, if I go buy Dino, D-I-N-O, the ticker symbol of the crypto, if I go buy that, will it cash flow for me? Will it be appreciative? Will it or be accretive in value, go up? Or can I use it as leverage? And if the answer is no to all of those, it's a no buy. It's a no investment. And if you think it's a maybe, then you've got to prove to yourself how it will do one of those 3 things. That's what you need to do in order to move forward. Okay. Keep dropping your questions. I'll have a Q&A at the end. I'll zoom back through those. Profit maximizers. All right. This is the thing. This is the steroid injection shot on how to make sure you're profiting. Some of this will sound connected, and it's because it is. All right. So number 1, productive assets instead of non-productive assets. Make sure you're not investing just in non-productive. You have to have productive assets or you won't be able to cash flow. Number 2, the market moves in waves, so ride them. Okay. And the way you need to understand what I mean by that is, don't get emotional. Like, if the market goes down one day or the market goes up one day, that doesn't mean the game is over. It doesn't mean you need to panic sell. It doesn't mean you need to FOMO buy. It just means the market moves in waves. There are no straight lines on a chart. So just have the maturity and perspective to know that's what's happening. Number 3, the leverage the early adoption curve and the volatility of the entire market while we can. Guys, if you draw a bell curve on a piece of paper that represents the adoption of crypto, like, we're on the extreme far left side of the screen. Like, we are in the first 10%. Some people think they've missed it. They weren't early enough with crypto. That is the farthest thing from the truth. Are you going to become a millionaire on Bitcoin? Not at all. Can you become a millionaire on other cryptos? Absolutely. No doubt, 100%, because their market caps are low still. Bitcoin's the highest market cap. It's at like a 400 or 500 billion market cap. At its height, it was 1.3 trillion. Just to give you some perspective, gold is 11 or 12 trillion. Stock market's 40 trillion. So Bitcoin's, yes, it's still a baby compared to those, but it has to like go to 40, 80, $120,000 to 2x, 3x, 4x. Whereas Chainlink was at 84 cents. It went to $49. Man, that was like, gosh, I can't even remember the math there. It's just way more multiples that you can earn. Number 4, don't worry about the charts on a daily basis. Like I said, markets move in waves. And number 5, no need to be a day trader. You don't have to be glued to the screen all day. You don't have to do day trades. You don't have to learn options and Forex and all this crazy stuff. I don't. So if I don't, and I'm successful, then you should be able to emulate that as well. Okay, I'm going to get to the practical good stuff here real quick. I want you to understand this screen. When we are leveraging the strategy that I've shared with you today, we're buying primary assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, BNB, various large blue chip cryptos. Those are the primary assets. We use them and we also invest in secondary assets like yield farms, decentralized exchanges that pay us a yield for depositing our money with them so that we're providing liquidity to help them create trades and swaps. They're earning a fee, and then they're bringing us a profit or a piece of that democratized profit, and they're paying us out in what we call tertiary assets. That's our pure profit. That's our daily cash flow from the flywheel. And then we can choose what we want to do with the tertiary. We can put it back into the primary, or we can put it back into the secondary. Now, I'm going to make all this look real in a fun little exercise where I just show you one of my crypto farms. I'll do that if you guys want me to. So in the chat, if you want me to harvest real money in real time in front of you, give me a yes real quick. I'm going to take a quick drink of my Coke Zero. If you want to see how it works, I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, awesome. So then let me stop my screen share and find my screen. Okay, we'll drag this screen over here. All right, let's see. Okay, now bear with me, just some technical maneuvering here. All right, this is one of my favorite crypto farms. It's a Utah-based company here in the States called Giddy. I'm not going to go into their whole thing right now just because we don't have time, but I started out with a couple of $1,000s in Giddy. My current my current balance is about $6,800, but I've worked my way up. I'm earning about $28 a day. This goes up and down. Sometimes 28 is really kind of the low part. Sometimes I'm earning $40 or $50 a day. I'm earning about 0.35 to 0.45% a day. Those are some of the tokenomics that I was talking about that you want to understand before investing. Again, this is kind of like a cooking show. I'm showing you like the final cooked dish. So there's a lot that you need to know about something. So don't just like go FOMO into this. You need to understand like how to use all the tools and stuff. And I'm gonna talk more about that in a second. But like literally, I think I need to go to the actual, because I want you to see how Google Chrome works. So I'm currently connected to this with MetaMask. So if you go here, if you show up, I know somebody was asking how do the wallets work? Well, here's my MetaMask wallet. I click on it. It drops down. You can see some of the assets that I have sitting here. Most of them are in my cold wallet. And I go, okay, well, I trust Giddy. I'm going to connect my wallet. I use a MetaMask. This is Trust Wallet. This is Coinbase Wallet. I mentioned those earlier in the presentation. So I'm connected. Okay, great. And you can see my balance is restored. All right. So I have right now, I have $29.73 of harvestable money. And all I have to do is hit harvest. This is why it takes less than 30 minutes a week to do this, because every day I come in and harvest. Why would I do that? All right, well, let's pause. And I want to show you the reason why yield farming, crypto farming, you can see now this $29.74 is in my wallet up here when it opens real quick. Hang on. So now I have $29.84 of Giddy token, and I can swap that for USDC. And that's a stable coin that reflects the price of the US dollar. And I can just send it to my bank and send it to Coinbase, and then from Coinbase, sell it for US dollars, and then send it to Wells Fargo. That's kind of the process. That's it. So, however, the smart thing to do, especially with this one, they have about, well, we have time on our side, but like, I can take that $29.74 now, and I can put it back into this 40x multiplier farm where I can earn the maximum amount of Giddy token in the shortest amount of time and continue. And that's how I've grown from, $2,500 to $6,800 is I just have compounded. I've earned yield on yield. And the way that works, in case we haven't been to math class in a while, is pretty simple. It's the rule of 72. So let's just do this exercise real quick. If we start with $5,000 and we earn 100% a year, which, by the way, on a daily basis is 0.267. Okay. If you want to earn 100% annual percentage yield, you got to earn 0.267 per day. Okay. With Giddy, it's one of my more like conservative earners. It's earning like 0.35 to 0.45 a day. So I'm able to like methodically triple my money there over months at a time. Okay. So I asked some of you what your number was. Look, if you put $5,000 in and you double it every year, by year 10, you have 5 million. By year 11, it starts to get silly at 10 million. By year 12, $20 million. That's the power of compound interest. And as retail investors and people just out in the workforce, we lose sight of how math works. And these are the things that the banks don't want us to know. They don't want us to use decentralized financial systems. The funny part is that while they're telling you that it's not worth it and it's crazy and all the headlines are bad in the corporate media, what all the banks are doing right now is that they're building their own blockchains and that they're adopting things in the background for a massive financial switch. And they're all under NDA with certain companies like XRP and the various ISO 222 cryptos. But guys, you could do this with any number and just chart out your earnings with a simple rule of 72 spreadsheet. Another tool that I like to use sometimes is just this cool little online compound interest calculator. It's got ads on it, coolconversion.com. So if I want to do like a quick, okay, over the next 90 days, if I invest X amount of dollars into Giddy or whatever I choose, I've got probably 5 to 10 other current passive income investments that I use. But let's just say I want to put $5,000 into something. Calculation period, I'm going to do months, and I want to say let's just call this a 3-month investment. And my annual interest rate let's just call it 0.4 times 365 is 146%. So type in 146. I'm going to compound daily. I'm going to be as aggressive as I possibly can with my compounding. And if I calculate my interest, so over 3 months, my $5,000 will turn into almost $7,200, which, you know, that blows the S&P 500 out of the water. S&P 500, you're getting like 9 to 15% a year. This is over 3 months. So again, compound interest is what is the name of the game with the cash flow part of our flywheel. That, my friends, is how this all works. And that's what I do daily, weekly with my portfolio. And I'd love to do it with you. Before we get into Q&A, I'm super curious. I am currently on the lookout. I mentioned at the beginning of my call that I created a mastermind. It's called Get Paid Daily. It focuses on the crypto flywheel. It focuses on a human approach to crypto investing, not just some like virtual crazy Reddit forum where a bunch of crazy people are putting crazy stuff. But we have 250 members. Every single member has gone through me. They've applied and interviewed through me. So the quality of the group is incredible. But I also provide other things. And so I wanted to invite, I have 4 open spaces for this. I do a controlled access for enrollment. And what that means is it's a boutique mastermind for crypto investing. And it accomplishes several things. Number one, you get training. You get what I would consider world-class training in that you get access to my gated training area and video course that levels you up, but also shows you kind of the expanded version of everything we've talked about today, and gives you tutorials and how to set wallets up. My crypto ATM strategy is pretty popular, but we've got lists of popular investments in our community, like just things to help you speed up your progress and level yourself up. And basically that part of the program, the video course, there's 4 pillars to my mastermind. The video course is pillar number 1. It's training. It's just literally you logging in, and in about 4 hours total, it's the most time commitment that I will ask of you, you'll have everything that you need to be in the top 5% of crypto investors. But then I also do a weekly Zoom call with my members that's very similar to this, except we have special guests. We have a bunch of Q&A. We do coaching. I do macro analysis of the market. I tell you what I'm doing with my money that week. What am I investing in? What am I pulling my money out of? Am I taking profits? Am I accumulating? It's having a weekly meeting rhythm, having guest speakers come in and make us smarter and better investors, and also expose us to new investment opportunities. So I do a weekly coaching call with you and the other members on top of the training videos. And then I also, the third pillar is I provide unlimited human support. So as a member, and this is really honestly the reason why I keep it small, or a controlled access, is because you get full access to me. So if you have questions, you shoot me a message. We jump on a call if you need to. We jump on a Zoom call. We share screens. I say, oh yeah, I see what you're doing wrong. Here, click here, click here. So I'm not your financial advisor per se, but I'm definitely I'm more like the tow truck. If you're in the ditch, I can pull you out and make sure you're good to go. There's just no failure to launch, if you will. And you can always have someone to talk strategy and like, hey, what are you doing with your portfolio? What's in your portfolio? Stuff like that. So I provide that level of support to all of my members. And then lastly is the community itself. Really cool community that we've got. Super, super helpful. What we do is I have a Discord group. Discord is just a messaging app like Slack or Microsoft Teams or something like that. And this is actually where we communicate the most. And you can see it's a super active community. We're always sharing. I'm active, so I'm not like the founder who just throws people in a group. Like I'm always here with input. We've got support channels. We've got NFT chatter, metaverse, real estate chatter. We've got a travel channel, crazy investments, trade signals, cash flow mastermind, real estate investing. We cover it all. But this is here so that you're never investing alone, so that you've got people who have skin in the game, who have capital out in the marketplace, that they're there making sure that you and I know what's working. Here's the funny part, or a fun part, is that I'm making as much money or more money from my community recommendations than I am my own individual research. And you might be like, Josh, that's not something to brag about. I'm actually really proud of it, because it means that it's working. What we're doing works. It means that 250 minds are better than mine. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being the center of attention, but I'm the guy that'll get you up to speed and caught up with the Joneses, if you will. So the crypto train is moving at full speed. I'm submitting an invitation to those of you on this call and on this call only. If you want to be one of the 4, you do have to apply, but you also have to talk to me in person on the phone. That's my only requirement. And so what I want you to do, is anybody interested in that? Like, are you interested in one of these 4 slots in the mastermind? Give me a number 1 if you are, and then I'll go to Q&A here in just a minute. But if you're interested in working with me personally, like, I'll help you set up your first crypto farm. You know, like that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about white glove, Ritz-Carlton, 4 Seasons hotel mastermind service here. I'm not just talking about some video course that you go watch by yourself in the corner and figure it out. Okay. This is the coup de grace of anything I've done on a consulting level. I've had a lot of consulting businesses in the past. They've been successful. This is my sandbox. This is where I like to go and be. I love teaching people, and I love helping people find breakthrough with crypto. So if you want to be one of those people, I need you to go to this URL right now, either on your phone or on a new tab on your computer right now, because I have limited spots on my calendar as well. Go to cryptoyall.co, not .com, cryptoyall.co/crypto farming. And when you go to cryptoyall.co/crypto farming, you'll be at step 1 of 2. Step 1, fill out my little it's a survey. Fill out the survey. When you're finished filling out the survey, it'll redirect you over to my calendar. On the calendar, you need to hurry up and choose a time, because that is how you get in. If you choose a time that's too late and I fill those 4 slots, then we're going to have to wait for another day. But I don't open those slots frequently. You need to take advantage of this. And honestly, the market's in such a great position right now. It just is kind of a no-brainer not to get started. So if you've got some capital that you want to invest in yourself, but also into crypto, and you want to create productive assets without paying the dummy tax, go to cryptoyall.co/crypto farming right now and take up one of those slots. Okay. Now, I want to jump into Q&A real quick. I'm going to pull up my chat and make sure I'm looking at the right thing. And I'm checking my messages to make sure. And we'll wrap up here in less than 5 minutes. How do you find these crypto farms? Is that what we use CoinMarketCap for? That's a good question. I use my community primarily. My community has their ear to the ground. We find stuff all the time. We're also in various Discord communities from other crypto investments. So we're able to like associate trustworthy investment protocols with each other. That's a huge part of it. Again, that's the reason why you don't want to invest alone. Maji asks, how do the wallets work and where do we get them from? They are typically either mobile, like Trust Wallet is a mobile only wallet. MetaMask is a Google Chrome extension. I probably answered that though in my demo. You probably saw that. You just go to the Google Chrome store and you download it for free. Any other questions? Feel free to drop it in the chat. Any other relevant questions? Let's see. Where do we get access to hot and cold wallets? So I just explained hot wallets. Cold wallets, go to ledger.com and buy one. That's what I do. Don't buy them secondhand. You don't want to buy them on the second market because they could have been tampered with. So that's a important tip. Any other questions? Go to, if you don't have questions and you're just like, Josh, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to earn some money. I want to create passive income for my success story. I want to do what I want to do with my life, and I want to create wealth that is multi-generational. Then go to cryptoyall.co/crypto farming right now. Do me a favor, fill out that survey. It'll redirect you to my calendar. And that is how you and I we'll talk on the phone. That's the number one thing for you to do right now. And we'll take care of you and make sure it's a good fit and make sure that you have the right. And hey, if it's not a good fit, I'll point you in the best direction possible. I'll take care of you on the call. So other questions before we wrap up? I'm scrolling the chat. Great, Caitlin. Can't wait to talk to you. Signed up and scheduled. Can't wait to talk to you. Okay, I don't see any other questions coming through. Thank you for sharing all of this. Well, Adanya, you're welcome. I hope we get to work together. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, don't invest alone. Utilize the tools. Don't move too quickly. And none of this has been financial advice. However, there's no reason why you can't be successful if a guy from Northwest Alabama has been. All right, we'll talk soon.